Hey folks, welcome to today's episode of Interesting Stuff, the YouTube show. My voice is a little bit messed up. I've been talking a lot. I still got a little bit of cold, but here we are. I cannot remember the name of the cemetery. It's in Attalla, Alabama. It's a little suburb of Gadsden, but it's a neat little cemetery. It's pretty old. We're going to get up here where we can park and people can see us, because as you can see, the roads are not exactly big, and we'll get out and get to what we do, which is wander around cemeteries and like film stuff. I know, kind of a weird hobby, but if you like it, I like it, and that's why I do the channel. It's so cool to be in a cemetery where I can actually talk, because like the other two cemeteries we filmed, there are people out there doing funerals, there are people out there visiting family members, and well, you don't want to talk when they're doing that because it's just friggin' rude. But look up there on the hilltop, you can see these big houses. They're up there on the hill. The interstate, which is 2059, it's right there through the trees. And this is off in the little town of Attalla. Like I said, there's nobody here, so I can actually use my normal voice, which feels so good on the throat. I'm going to start doing this from now on. I forgot doing the first two videos. First video was shot about the 17th of December. Second one was filmed on Christmas Day. This is the day after Christmas. And again, we're in Attalla in a cemetery that I'm really bad about doing this. I had the name and then I forgot it. I've got to start doing more research on these. That's something that I'm going to do from now on, so I don't forget names and stuff anymore. But there's nobody really famous buried out here. It's just a neat old cemetery. I like it. It's peaceful. It's quiet. You don't have a lot of stuff out here. You know, one of the problems with older cemeteries is that over the years the neighborhood around them kind of turns, and then they get abandoned because cemeteries cost a lot of money to upkeep. And a lot of towns can't pay for it. They don't want to pay for it. They have disputes on ownership of the cemetery. Is it a privately owned or is it owned by the city? And you deal with all that stuff. So this cemetery is well maintained. We're going to get to some really dirty, gnarly cemeteries, but I'm trying to knock out some of the good ones first. You know, we will do some gnarly ones. We will. Look at this one. This is the grave of J.T. Wilson, died in 1905. Obviously, he was a Mason. Really, really cool tombstone here. And this one's kind of all over the place. You've got newer graves mixed in with older graves. You can see where the old roads used to be. You know, like this one here, which is what I find really neat about it. Like this right here used to be an actual roadway leading down here, and well, it's no longer in use. And you've got them all through the cemetery. You know, now that one wouldn't, that would have been for a cart. It's not wide enough for a car. Would have been for a cart, you know, coming around gathering up, you know, flowers, stuff like that that were left behind. But some of these were actual roadways at one point and eventually just fell into disuse, like that one right there. So now we're coming up on the grave of Mrs. S.W. or Lily B., wife of S.W. Guest. There we go. And as you can see, Miss Guest died in 1907. It's a really nice tombstone. And then here is S.W. for Seaborn. I kind of like that name. Seaborn Watson Guest. He died after his wife. He died in 1922, born in 1858. It's really nice. You know, they got this whole little area. I'll show you from a ground view looking up at their little perch that they have. It's been raining, so this is not the easiest, but see, they're up a little hill here. You can't really tell the elevation too well, but they're up there on that little hill. A that beautiful tree beside it, and you got that really nice one right there. We're gonna walk around here a little bit. Like I said, it's so nice to be able to use like my full volume voice, because some of these other cemeteries I'm having to talk really low. They're having funerals, and you don't want to take away from that, or there's people visiting their relatives and you don't want to cause a distraction. It's very personal time, but here I can actually talk, and it feels great to do so. So here you have the Walker clan. It's a bunch of them through here. Not sure what that is. Daughter of the Revolution. Oh, wow. Antoinette Walker Ariel was a member of the Daughters of the Revolution. Now, for those of you who don't know, Daughters of the Revolution is a society for females who have direct descendants to veterans of the Revolutionary War. You don't see them that much anymore, you know? You just don't, but, oh, wow. This is bad. That hole by the Deatons is pretty dang deep. Matter of fact, yep, that's what it is. You can see down there, that is a tombstone. And what has happened is, over the years, the tomb, or the grave, or the the coffin finally collapsed. So that causes that. So hopefully the workers get out here and fix that pretty soon. It happens more than you think. And the workers here are great. You don't have a lot of nonsense out here. James Moore, Mason, died 1917. Look at this one. Sorry, Mr. Mason. I know it doesn't make any sense, but try to apologize. Can't hardly see this one. Yeah. Annie Cooper Smith is her name. It's a really neat tombstone. You can tell there's some settling, that's why the crack's right there. But yeah, this cemetery does a great job keeping it up. You don't have riffraff in here. See, this is what I was talking about. This, actually, now that I'm looking at it, it's wide enough. This could have been like a Model A or a wagon road right through here. Because the Model A's, Model T's, they had a very narrow wheelbase. So you could have driven them down here very easily. But over the years, cars got bigger. You're not driving a modern car through here unless you have like a Mr. Bean car or something. And you can tell here, like this road, which is abandoned, is a much wider road than its counterpart here. So my bet is they widened this because they had the room at some point. That one, it was blocked in by graves, so they couldn't widen it. Now we're going to go check these guys out over here. You got, Betty G. Cox, wife of Dr. J.H. Lester, born in 1847, died in 1900. And over here, it's actually really neat, because when you take a step back, I'll show you. Got that tree, and it like covers, there's a vine. Can't really read it, because it's starting to get dark. Now, when you see a lot of these old tombstones, and they're pretty much worn smooth, that's because, especially back in like the 60s, 70s, maybe even going back to the 50s, the big in thing was you got a piece of copper, you put it over the gravestone, you take a rock and you'd rub it. That would make what was on the tombstone come off on the copper. Problem is, you did extensive damage to the tombstones. One rubbing could destroy a tombstone, let alone several rubbings. So that's why a lot of these graves, you cannot see the writing anymore. It's from the rubbing or people other ways vandalizing the tombstones. I don't see the point. We're all going to wind up like this. This is your last this is the last thing of you left on earth. Is this your little grave? No matter how much money you had when you were alive, doesn't matter. This is what you're left with, and everybody deserves to have it undisturbed. Here is Margaret Edwards, died in 1906. It's a really nice tombstone. Out here you don't have a lot of copper etchings. You just don't. Some of these older cemeteries, that's a very rare thing to see. You can tell the cemeteries have been maintained dutifully over the years by how many of the old tombstones have been rubbed and how many have not. Because most of your older ones have a lot of rubbings. I'm not going to say most, but a lot of them do. Because they've been abandoned. Ada May, daughter of C.D. and M.M. Merville, born in 1873, died in 1896. Sad. Beautiful tombstone, though. Like I said, Ada May here meant a lot to the Merville family. Look at that tombstone. You know, and this would be, I'm assuming, her father, George D. Merville. Quartermaster Sergeant Company E, 8th Regiment New York Volunteers Artillery. So he would have been a Civil War vet. And it'll be controversial. But, no, I'm not going to say it. It's the only thing that does stir up a bunch of BS. Not going to say it. But, you know, Master Sergeant Quartermaster, back in the day, Civil War, talk about some bad mojo. I couldn't have pictured being in that war. I'm a vet, so when I think about wars, World War I, World War II, and the Civil War are the ones that scare me the most. I do not know if I could have been an effective soldier in those wars. I would hope so, but you want to talk about just wholesale killing. Horrible, horrible. The tactics had a lot to do with it because technology had progressed, but tactics had not caught up with it. Oh. Samuel W. Cox, Lieutenant Colonel, Civil War, obviously. Here's the Cox family. Right here, Samuel and his wife Emma, I'm assuming. He died in 1906, she died in 1923. I don't get into the politics, man. I'm out here to shoot graves. My idea on politics is if you believe any damn politician, you're an idiot. They all have an agenda, and that agenda is to put them first. That's all I'm going to say about it. I don't get into all this crap. On this channel, if you're looking for politics, you're at the wrong place. We're not going to do it. That's all I'm going to say on it. Finally done, finish. Let's get back to work. And our work is remembering people like Robert Hunter here, who was in Brown's Battery, Virginia Horse Artillery, Confederate States of America. Some of these cemeteries I'm going to go to, I will not reveal the names because they are kind of forgotten about. They are easy to vandalize. Look at this, Cunningham. That's the Cunningham plot there. But they are easy to vandalize. And I don't tell people where they're at to avoid that. Let's see. Right, it's right here off a road, so you'll be patient. So I need the name of this joint. Oak Hill. You can't really see it too well. Oak Hill Cemetery, Attalla, Alabama. We're going to take one of these closed off roads. We're going to hike our way back up to the car. I don't know why some of these roads were closed. Some of them I do, because they serve no purpose. But some of them, like this one, serves a purpose. So I don't know why they closed it, but they did. I guess to keep congestion down, because there are a lot. Never seen a cemetery with so many roads. Never. And I've lived all over the damn place. But I've never seen this many roads. Let's see. Got a little bit of a hike. Back to the car. Like I said, I'm recovering from some kind of Lung infection, nothing bad, but it makes the talking a little bit difficult, and it makes breathing a real pain in the ass, especially when you're going uphill, which I am right now. Gonna parked on low road, had to park up top, because I am a dumbass. Ooh, I tell you, gonna have to slow down just a hair. Keep forgetting I'm 50, not 20, and I'm not, in 20-year-old Army shape anymore. I'm in 50-year-old straight civilian shape. Lazy civilian. So there are some 50-year-old civilians that can go. Not me. Wow. Okay, so you can probably see, cut it real quick, because I couldn't friggin' breathe. I have got to get back in shape. But anyways, Oak Hill Cemetery, Attalla. You can see it pretty much all from up here. The other cemeteries we went to cover acres and acres, like 40. This one, if I had to make a guess, probably about 10. Maybe 10. Maybe. Might not even be 10. But it's a real pretty cemetery. And there is out here, I remember it, I have my paper at home, but I will be back. I want to say there's a Medal of Honor awardee out here. There is, I will be back. And I'll film it. When you get into these cemeteries, any cemetery, they're so big, and some of them got multiple celebrities in them, so you can't hit all the graves in one day. You know, this one, not so many celebrities, so the ones that are points of interest, like I said, I had them on a piece of paper. I left them, not so many. But when you think about it, that's not really fair, because everybody out here is a point of interest to somebody. Everybody. There's no such thing as a person who lived a useless life, or really is even more important than another person. Some people get reputations, get names, get famous, whatever, but the average person did exactly what we're doing. They lived, they loved, they dreamed, they worked, they built a family, and they just as much as anybody else deserve to be remembered, because it's the people like them that you don't know their names, like right here, Byron Todd, 1913, 1951. Mr. Todd did something in his life, built a family. See, look at that, Todd built a family. He helped build this town. His descendants are still here. Mr. Todd's important. You might never have heard of him. I never have. But he's important, because it's people like Mr. Todd that built this country. People like Mr. Todd that we have to thank for everything that we take for granted. You know? And every tombstone out here tells that story. Just like one day your tombstone's going to tell that story. And that's all that's going to be left to you, is a plot. Just like this. With your name, your date of birth, date of death, maybe a couple other things. And in 100 years, anyone who knew you directly is gone. No one is left who knew you personally. And really, after about 50 years, anyone who knew you very well is going to be gone. So really, your shelf life after you die is about 50 to 60 years of first-hand witnesses who could say that they actually carried a conversation on with you. Give it 100 for like great-grandkids that don't really know you, but they saw you. That's it. Our time on Earth, if we're lucky, is about 75, 80 years. And then really about 100 years after that, before nobody knew you directly, and the world has moved on. But these don't. These stay. These remind us that the people were here above ground at one point, walking around, doing what we do. That's one of the reasons I do this. Look at this. Cynthia Scott Townsend, essay, U.S. Navy, 1958 to 2011. Not sure what an essay is. The Navy does its rank off of a job description, so I'm not really sure. But I think Seaman's Assistant or something. But you know, that's why I do this, because I find it fascinating. I hope you guys find it cool too. You know, it's peaceful, and it reminds us all how short life is, and how great it is, and how we should really be enjoying every day that we're alive. We really should. Go up here, you guys know how I feel about tombstones with pictures. I love them. So, oh, it's a baby. Oh, it's a cute little baby too. 1990. It's awful. Rest in peace. Okay, this will be the last one on this cemetery. Go to the Hunt Family Memorial. And that is a heck of a memorial. Wow. Oh no, that's a tombstone. That's for Jerry Hunt. Jerry E. Hunt. It's got a poem underneath it. It's a nice tomb. Man, that's wicked. That is wicked bad. Yeah, I'm stealing the term wicked bad. So, all you Bostonians, don't get mad. I just like the saying. So, we're going to wrap it up because it's almost dark and I got to bail. But, if you enjoyed this video, hit a like, subscribe, leave comments. I like comments. And as always, be smart, be safe, don't do stupid shit. I'll see you next time.